Good afternoon. Here is the national news from BGI TV, the episode of 1st March, year 2022. My name is Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the national news. 2023 presidency, Tinubu gets jeered after declaring himself a youth. Minister walks out and student protesting ASU strike. Python chases Delta Varsity students from hostel. School says reptile harmless. Women protest X-Men invasion, destruction of farmlands in Bayelsa. ONDO barber remanded for killing father. Court gives Abba Kyari go-ahead to treat diabetes orders. Court discharges mother suspect 3 years after. Now the news in detail. The national leader of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has declared himself a youth. The former Lagos State governor said he still possesses the physical and mental energy to lead the country come 2023. There has been a clamor for a younger person to become the president of the country after 79-year-old President Muhammadu Buhari is adjudged to have taken the country backward, especially due to his frail health. Recall that the APC national leader had, during his visit to Lamidi Adeyemi, the Alaafin of Oyo, at his palace last week, asked the youth to create room for elderly people. Then, speaking while meeting with some APC members and his supporters over the weekend, the 69-year-old former federal lawmaker declared that he is now a youth. Tinubu, in a viral video on social media, said he is capable of serving Nigeria and making the country great. I'm here standing before you and I'm a youth, Tinubu said, adding that the youth themselves would have to be ready to take the mantle of leadership of the country. The declaration was followed by loud cheers from the crowd, who shouted national youth leader, and so on. It's an embarrassing session as students of tertiary institutions under the aegis of the National Association of Nigerian Students on Monday protested in parts of the country, including the Federal Capital Territory, against the ongoing warning strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. In Abuja, protesting students grounded activities at the Secretariat of the Federal Ministry of Education after the Minister of Education, Adamu, walked out on them during a meeting. The students who were demanding an immediate end to the ongoing strike by ASU had stopped at the National Assembly, demanded to speak with the leadership of the Assembly, but the security operatives on ground shut the gate against them. The protesting students then decided to take their protest to the ministry and demanded to speak with the minister, a request that was granted. At the meeting with the minister, President of NAN, Sunday Ashefon, demanded an immediate end to the ongoing strike while negotiations continue. He also called for the inclusion of the students in the negotiation process, threatening that students may ground activities nationwide as done during the hashtag EndSARS protest. The visibly angry minister said he was disappointed with the NAN's leadership, adding that the government had done what was expected of it since the commencement of the strike. The protesting students shut the gates of the ministry for hours to deny the minister and workers of the ministry entry and exit. They marched around the building chanting songs such as Adamu Must Go. In Plateau State, the protesting students locked out federal and state workers. They gathered in front of the National Library, Yakubu Gowon Way in Jos around 8 a.m. and later moved to the Federal Secretariat located within Tudunwada community and locked the gates, therefore preventing workers from going in while those already inside were trapped in their offices. Some of the civil servants told the Punch in Jos on Monday that the students, after locking the gate of the Federal Secretariat for some hours, moved to the nearby State Secretariat where they also locked the gates. It's unfortunate that fear-equipped students of Novena University Ogume in the Ndokwa West local government area of Delta State after a python invaded a female hostel in the school. Our correspondent gathered that the python was found early Monday, creating panic among students. A source in the university said students woke up around 5:30 p.m. and found the snake on the bed. We saw a big snake that slept overnight with us on the same bed in one of the female hostels. The snake crawled into the hostel and found its way to the bed. One of the female students who slept in the room screamed, which drew the attention of other students. As I speak, they have vacated the hostel, the source added. The public relations officer of the institution, Mr. Emmanuel Odishika, confirmed the incident. He said the community has a scared snake and from time to time students run into it, but it does not hurt anybody. The university is over 16 years old, founded in 2005, and since then, the snake never hurt anybody. The snake is not harmful. We usually give students orientation whenever we admit new students. Older students don't panic because they are aware of it. We cannot restrict the snake's movement. Odeshiki said there was no overgrown grass on the school premises, adding that the snake did not require weed to visit the school. Moving to the next story, it's coming from a demonstration. Women from Otuasega community in Obia, local government area of Bayelsa State, in the early hours of yesterday, staged a peaceful protest against what they described as the incessant invasion and destruction of the farmlands by herdsmen. The aggrieved women who fell trees and tied fresh palm frond to barricade the Otuasega end of the Edekwe, a Meringi road linking communities in Obia and Nembe councils to Yenagwa. The state capital called for the urgent intervention of the state government to avert bloodshed in their community. The development caused serious gridlock on the busy route, which is a gateway to the hundreds of oil fields in the East Senatorial district of the state, forcing motorists to take a detour through the Okaki Yenigwe axis to access the state's capital. The protesters were armed with placards with the inscriptions such as "Our women are not safe in the farms anymore." Government of Bayelsa should protect our poor farmers from destruction by herdsmen. We don't want herdsmen and the cows in Otuasega again to avoid trouble. Our crops and farmland are constantly destroyed by cow. We need government assistance. Our women are no longer safe, among others. They vowed not to vacate the roof until the state government looked into their demands. The woman leader of Otuasega community, Mrs. Amiene Abiogu, who led the protest, said they were forced to converge on the road to draw government attention to their plight. She lamented that despite the state government's ban on open grazing, the herders have continued to invade and destroy farmland. She recalled a near tragic incident in which one of their youth was attacked by some herdsmen trespassing on their farmland. Our words, some few weeks back, cows invaded our community of Tuasega with their keepers despite the state government ban on open grazing. They invaded the community with guns, cutlasses, and brutally attacked one of our youth. Now, in less than 6 weeks, they have returned. We don't like what we are seeing in our forest. Our women are constantly being harassed on our farms. The sight of the herdsmen and the cattle alone can make one run away. It is not enough that they are threatening our lives in the forest. They are also destroying our crops. Let our governor tell us what is happening. We know there is a law banning open grazing in Bayelsa State, and we want to know why the herdsmen are still trespassing and destroying our crops. Our women going to farms are vulnerable, and we need government assistance and protection on our land. And to the next story from Ondo State. A magistrate court sitting in Akure, Ondo State, has ordered the remand of a 23-year-old man, Victor Akinwa, for allegedly killing his father, Justus. Victor was arrested for allegedly killing his father with a pistol in November 2021 on a basic road, Idori, in the Idori local government area of the state. The police prosecutor, Mr. Obadasa Ajiboye, told the court that the defendant hit his father with a pistol in the head, which resulted in his death. According to the prosecution, the offenses contravene sections 316 and 319 of the Criminal Code Cap 37, Volume 1, Laws of Ondo State of Nigeria, 2006. He ordered the court to remand the defendant in the custodial center pending legal advice from the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. The magistrate, Mr. Damilola Shekoni, remanded the defendant in the Olokuta Custodial Center pending legal advice. He adjourned the case till March 31st, 2022 for mention. On the controversial Deputy Commissioner of Police, Justice Ian Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday turned down the bail application filed by the detained former commander of the Intelligence Response Team, Force Intelligence Bureau of the Nigeria Police Force, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. Kyari, in his custody of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency over an alleged involvement in illicit drug business. Delivering judgment in the bail application, which was moved by his counsel, Cynthia Ikenna, the judge said the application had been overtaken by the order of the court given on February 22nd, which permitted the NDLEA to detain Kyari for another 14 days. Justice Eko declined to grant the bail application. He said the only order I will make now is an order allowing the applicant access to any medical personnel of his choice. The court will wait for the expiration of the duration of the February 22nd order of the court. Justice Eko adjourned till March 15, 2022 for the hearing of the Fundamental Human Rights Enforcement suit filed by Kyari. And to the last story which made the national news. 3 years after, an Ekiti State High Court sitting in Ado-Ekiti discharged and acquitted 33-year-old Benga Aluko, who had been on trial over alleged membership of secret court on lawful possession of firearms and murder. According to the charge, Aluko was arraigned on 3 counts of membership of secret court on lawful possession of arms and murder. The charge reads that Benga Aluko, 29, on February 13, 2018, in Ado-Ekiti was found to be a member of a secret court, Eye Confraternity, and also on June 13, 2018, was found in his possession a gun as well. On the same day, murdered one William Ayeboro in Ado-Ekiti. The offense is run contrary to Section 4 of the Secret Court Abolition and Prohibition First Amendment Law, Number 6, 2017 of Ekiti State, Section 3 of the Robbery and Firearms Special Provisions Act (CAP), Volume 14, Laws of the Federation 2004, and Section 316 of the Criminal Code (CAP) 16, Laws of Ekiti State 2012. One of the eyewitnesses who made a statement to the police said he and the late Ayeboro were discussing at the beer parlor at Atikokon area of Ado-Ekiti around 8 p.m. when somebody whose face he could not see clearly pointed a gun at the deceased and shot him in the face and left. The deceased was rushed to the hospital where he later died. During the trial, the prosecutor, Felix Awoniyi, called 3 witnesses and tendered the defendant's statement, bound to produce and release mobile phone and warrants to bury the dead, among others, as exhibit. But in his evidence before the court, Aluko, who said he used to be a secret court member, said he had renounced his membership before he relocated to Ado-Ekiti, adding that he knew nothing about the death of the deceased as he was in Akure when he heard about the incident. Justice Adekunle Adeleye said the evidence led by the defendant that he was in Akure on that fateful day was not challenged by the prosecution under cross-examination. Consequently, the prosecution could not prove beyond reasonable doubt that the presence of Aluko Benga at the scene of the killing of William Ayeboro on June 13, 2018 in Ado-Ekiti. On the whole, count 1 of the charges, membership of the secret court, is hereby dismissed, while the defendant is discharged and acquitted on count 2 and 3, unlawful possession of firearms and murder of the charges, for failure on the part of the prosecution to establish the ingredients of the offenses alleged against the defendant beyond reasonable doubt. That was the national news from BGI TV. Well, thank you for watching. For more updates of our broadcast and updates of our production, the handle of our YouTube is BARBER Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, selecting the option All. And before we call it a wrap, the headlines once again. 2023 presidency, Tinubu gets cheered after declaring himself a youth. Minister walks out in student protesting ASU strike. We also brought for you, Python chases Delta student from hostel. School says reptile is unarmed. Women protest Earthman invasion, destruction of farmlands in Bayelsa. ONDO barber remanded for killing father. Court gives Kyari go ahead to treat diabetes others. And last story, court discharges murder suspect 3 years after. On our Facebook handle, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please follow and like the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22 for other placements of your goods and services, coverage of event and function. The phone number streaming on your screen is the direct number to call for advert booking only. I am Moribe Babila Lawal. Good afternoon.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.